At Mango Languages, we care about our teachers and their feedback on the Mango Languages program, especially in their schools. And so today, we'll be talking with Ottavio Balena from the Hudson County School of Technology. Hi, Ottavio.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
I'm doing very well. It's wonderful to see you too. I'm glad that we are having a chance to talk together today.
So am I, so am I. We have a lot of good things to talk about, I suppose.
Absolutely, I agree, and I'm looking forward to hearing that. For everyone at home watching, would you be willing to introduce yourself and what you do?
Yes, my name is Ottavio Balena. I am a teacher of languages. I have taught languages all my life, but mostly my concentration is on Italian language and culture. I'm Italian, obviously, you can hear it from my accent. The school that I teach is called Hudson County School of Technology. It's a school about, I would say, 1,300 students altogether, if not more. And the programs offered at my school are actually increasing in size. So we have a good group of students.
Very
So
neat. Tell me how the school has changed in the past few months.
ever since COVID-19, the whole pedagogical approach in teaching has really changed dramatically because students, if you think about it, they have always been taught in a classroom setting. So the brain, ever since kindergarten, has got accustomed to the idea of having a classroom setting, and all of a sudden that has vanished. So students now, they are isolated at home and they have no social contact with their peers. And I think that is a very dramatic factor that has really had a tremendous impact in their educational experience. Some people, they can work well on their own, they have initiative. Some others, they need to be guided, and it's okay. And I think for the last 2 to 3 months, I have been experiencing, these dramatic changes with my student. But I have to tell you, if it wasn't for Mango, my job as a teacher right now in Italian would have been a big fiasco because Mango, I believe that it basically has become my substitution in terms of talking, speaking, emphasizing. Because one of the most beautiful aspects of your program is that Mango relies on one fundamental condition in learning a language, and that is that any given language can only be learned and mastered by a process of mimesis, in other words, imitation. We learn a language by mimicking. If kids are exposed to a live language on a daily basis, they master that language. And that's what I like about Mango, and that is that it really encompasses all of the components of learning a language, and that is repetition, 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 and then eventually it comes up. And I love that. And it's a well done. As a matter of fact, when I first saw the program, I said, "What is this?" Because we are bombarded, through internet, about this program and that program. And as soon as I saw it, and I started to play it with my students, I realized at once that they enjoy what they were doing. They will enjoy the program. They were actually having fun because they didn't have to take notes. They had to talk, and that was the whole idea. Is just pushing people to talk. So I think the approach is wonderful because you first learn, and then a little bit the grammar, to understand the difference between masculine and feminine. But that's about it. And then later on, you build on that. So that's what I like also about Mango. That is actually in agreement with what the state of New Jersey, particularly, and the national standards emphasized all the time. Language by full submersion. So that's just as good.
Ottavio, that's absolutely wonderful. I'm so glad that Mango has been able to help in the classroom. And you mentioned the process of just starting to introduce the students to Mango. Can you walk me through a little bit more of the process of how you introduced Mango to the class?
Well, it all started. I had access to Mango through through a college that I teach at, and they had this Mambo platform, and I never seen it before. And then, you know, through the account that I had on this college one day in class prior to the COVID-19, I said, let me try it on my student. Let's see how what the reaction is. And immediately it was like falling in love at first sight. The students they loved it at once. I mean, I had a tremendous amount of like positive response from the students. They were you know, actually enjoying it so much. They were laughing, and you could see, from the face of these young adults, like the smirk on their face. Oh, I'm finally able to understand this. Even the students that they actually struggle in a language class, because you always have those. Even them, they were like fully into it. They were excited. They were, and then COVID happened, and here I am trying to send the data to my students, and then all of a sudden, I saw that Mango had this wonderful opportunity to join for free, and I said, let me give it a try. And thank God we had that. Otherwise, my school year would have been a total disaster. Simply because I did not have the tool to make them talk and speak.
And Mango was a tool that you found, is that correct?
Yes, it's a great platform. It really is. As a matter of fact, I did mention to the principal of the school. I says, "Listen, I have no books because I teach with no books. I don't have a physical book for the students, and because books are kind of like knives for a chef. If you don't know how to use the knife, you cut your finger. It's the same thing with the book. If you don't know how to use it, you have a disaster in your hand. I don't like to teach from the book. I like to teach by creating activities, speaking activities, singing in class, watching movies. I expose the students to all of these elements. And, with the Mango platform, when all this came tumbling down, it was my anchor of, hope, and that I could complete the year successfully. So thank you, Mango.
Wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. Ottavio, I'm very curious to hear you sing in Italian class. That sounds rather fun. You talked a little bit about other things that you do in the classroom, right? And so I was wondering if you could let me know how you use Mango in, or, well, at this point now, out of the classroom.
Well, right now, what I've been doing is I start all of my students, including seniors and freshmen. I start right from zero. Okay, go back. You start right from the beginning, whereby at least they were at least able to familiarize themselves with the program. And then afterwards, I'll let the juniors and the seniors, I say, okay, now that you know how this works, I give you the freedom of doing what you want. All I expect from you is 4 hours of Mango's activity a week. Every Saturday morning, I'm going to check what you're doing from Saturday to Saturdays, and you're going to be graded on that. Whereas for the freshmen and sophomores, since they are still, at the rebellious stage, I had to be specific. Okay, you do lesson one, unit one, chapter 2, chapter 3. Then, at the end, I give them some sort of assessment. So, and they're doing very well. I'm very pleased. Obviously, the correlation is more hours spent on Mango, the better the grade that you will get. And, as a matter of fact, last week, I saw the graph that I had from Mango of the activities. And I noticed that last week, the kids, they were a little bit relaxed. And when I went to check the test, I saw that the grade went down a little bit on their performance. So first thing on Monday, I sent them the graph right from Mango, from the administration portal. Says, guys, this is the activities that you've done. Last week, you did not study as much. And as a result, the test result was obvious. So I strongly suggest that you go back, because I watch everything you do. So Mango gives you the opportunity of really knowing, that the students are engaged. In a way, it's a tool that really, should you have a problem, in the future with students who have the tendency of, procrastinating everything to the last minute, at least you have the tool to show, hey, listen, this, it's black and white. This is what you did. This is the result of your performance. So thank you once again.
Wonderful. I'm very glad that it seems relatively easy to follow your students' progress and see how they're doing.
Absolutely.
Could you mention a little bit of any progress that you've seen with them while using Mango?
Yes, I noticed a big progress in terms of writing abilities. They are not afraid to try new words that they've learned. They try to expand naturally on their vocabulary. And I think that's wonderful because technically, as a teacher, I never force my students to learn vocab, like red, russo, white, bianco, house, casa. I don't do that. I like to teach vocab in the context of a sentence because that's the only way that they remember. So Mango does that. And so what I notice is that students have not been afraid to expand, in trying to write.
Of course. To your students, if you could talk to them right now about their progress with Mango, about their future with Italian, what would you like to say to your students right now if you could?
So I said to them, use this application because if you do all of it, if you approach the whole program and you do the whole program, I will guarantee you that you will speak the language with great success. And on top of that, I had to tell you this, that you might like it, is the fact that my wife is Colombian. She speaks fluent Spanish, obviously, and for the last 20 years that we've been married, she has basically learned Italian from me, but never officially and formally. But so my wife, she has also an account with Mango. I set it up, with a Mango account, and every day she's been studying for at least 4 hours a day on Mango. She loved Mango, and now it's funny to hear her speaking Italian. She wants to speak Italian. And even at night, when we watch TV, I noticed that there are no longer the Spanish channel. Now she goes through YouTube and she finds all kinds of Italian movies that she wants to see and enjoy, and she is really doing good.
That's so exciting. I'm so glad to hear that. What a wonderful story, Ottavio.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, it seems like she definitely appreciates and likes using Mango. I was curious from your side, what are some of the things that you like about the Mango program?
The number one thing that I love and I think is like the big golden medal to be given to Mango is the mimetic aspect of it, the repetition. That is the best. And the fact that you repeat over and over again, and then also to the exercises. When people go through the exercises, is the challenging aspect of it. Okay, then how would you say this based on what you have learned thus far? How would you say that? And I think, and that's where the creativity comes in, because people, by association, they try to talk, and so you really push people to talk.
I think that's very well spoken. To current events, sort of right now, I'm glad that you were prepared with a digital product like Mango, a digital resource. And so I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the importance of schools having access to digital resources.
I would say in the last 20 years, teachers have explored, software, internet activities to incorporate into the class. And with COVID-19, all of a sudden it has become a must. You have to have that. And but even if things will go back to normality, and I'm sorry to use the if, I would say that the Mango platform still remains, regardless of COVID, on a wonderful tool for learning a language. Quite frankly, if you look at a life of a language teacher, okay, regardless if it is university or high school, the basic problem is every day when you go in a classroom, you have to have auto listening, and comprehensive ability, the three modes of communication. You had to encompass these three things on a daily basis, and that's mandated by national standards and state standards. So you have that in your favor. So, and that is a challenge. So think of, like, for example, of like a mother of 3 children, okay, who happens to be a Spanish teacher. When she goes back at home at night, she has to prepare for the next day. Maybe the children, they are sick. They can, she cannot do any of that. Mango comes in and rescues. Says, okay, tomorrow I do a mango. Boom, done. It's there. So the lesson is there. So you have everything there. So you really conquered the market, and you don't even know how to pay. So I want you to know that you have a tool that is magic for teachers. So the more teachers have access to this program, regardless of the language, the better it is, because it's a tool that has everything, even the lesson plans. All you have to do is, just look at your plans and says, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and everything is there. The job is done. So it's extremely appealing to teachers, surely for me, because as I said, I've been teaching for so many years, and I wish Mango was in existence 30 years ago, but it wasn't.
Wonderful, Ottavio. I've enjoyed so much talking with you. You've had some great points, and it's been very exciting to hear. And I wish you only the best and success with the very end of this year and years beyond.
Thank you. Thank you once again. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.